Good morning, y'all. My name is Shannon. Welcome to my channel. This morning is play day, and I want y'all to play with me, and we're going to make some mug rugs. This is super scrappy, super easy, and let me give you a list, a supply list, okay? We're gonna foundation piece on dryer sheets. Get your used dryer sheets. Press them, make sure your iron is on medium, and then trim your dryer sheets to 6 by 9. I usually just go with them as they are, but because these are stitched and turned and then quilted, I wanted them to be straight. So do that. Gather you some scraps. I'm going to do this jobby do with some yellow and then some pink hand-dyed fabric. And then we're going to applique with heat and bond. We're going to put some flowers on there. Some fun stuff just to play, okay? And we'll do the raw edge applique. I've got some leaves. So let's get ready and let's play, okay? These are awesome for charity gifts, fundraisers for your animal shelters. There's just, the possibilities are endless. Not to mention to give us gifts and use yourself. So let's get started. Now, one thing that I use that I absolutely love is this hem tape. I get it from Amazon. The link will be in the description. It is much thinner than heat and bond hem tape. And I really like that because it keeps it real supple and you know, soft. So I use that just to make things be still. So that's what I'm going to do now, is make this centerpiece stay still so that my other two pieces will sew down in an even manner. It doesn't take much to stick it down. So we're going to stitch and flip and get this little show on the road. I have other examples of pieces that I've made. You can make these as scrappy as you want. And they're just, it's fun. It's mindless play. And these days, I think we all need some of that. So, just some inspiration there. Scrap buster for sure. So, all right, let's get this going. This is my vintage Kenmore. It does not have a lot of fancy stitches, but it's a workhorse and I absolutely love it. So if some of your scraps need a crease ironed out, we'll just iron it out. I drew a line with a pencil and you can't see it. I drew a line with a pencil and I want my strips to just barely be over that because this is going to cover it here in a minute. So here we go. Long video, sorry. I know everybody doesn't have time for it, but gotta do what we gotta do. An 1/8 to 1/4, it doesn't matter, you just want to stitch it down. And then we're gonna, you can finger press, which is what I think I'm gonna do. And trim threads. I wish I was able to edit the video and, you know, cut down some of the time. This didn't quite meet the edge. We're not messed up about it. I am gonna press it over. We'll hide it in the seam allowance. Same thing here. I love this machine. I've done a lot of piecing on it, and he's a workhorse. He drinks a lot of oil, but man, he's got a lot of working parts too. So he's all steel inside and out. There is no plastic on this machine except for the knobs. So my first machine was very, very much like this one. It did have a bigger variety of stitches, but all right, there we have it. Now let's put this one on. Let's see, how do I want that? I want it like that. So we're gonna come across here. Let's put it on there in a way that looks good. Have a little hangover on both sides because we're going to trim it. The feed dogs drop on this machine. It also has a presser foot pressure knob that lets you lighten how hard that presser foot pushes. So finger press. I'm gonna stick this down. You don't have to cut this hem tape. I mean, just tear it with your finger and put it in there and press it down so your stuff doesn't move. All right, there we have it. I'm going to pause the video and trim this, and I'll be right back. Okay, now we're gonna play some. We'll audition a flower or two. We just want to keep them inside our seam allowance. We need to keep a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around. So there's that, and a leaf. Yeah. I should have grabbed some smaller, and these could come down just a little bit. You know, if they cross over your, let's see, let's do this. I know I'm fidgeting, but that's so cute. Okay, and then we'll have old Yeller up here. So let's peel the paper. And you know, when you do this, if you've gone to all the work of making a template, save your papers because you can use them again. This is Heat and Bond. It's not the Ultra, it's the what they call the sewable. The Ultra will gum up your needle. So will Steam-A-Seam. So there's places for all of this stuff. But I have had so much fun with this stuff. I've made landscapes and then just scrappy, stripy ones, and so yeah. This is my first time to. This is actually a piece of fabric that I dyed, so I'm thrilled to use that. Okay, there's that leaf, and here's this leaf. Y'all, get under there. Let's tilt this one this way. But be as creative as you want. You can do all kinds of things. You can cut flowers out of the fabric, you know, put some Heat and Bond on a floral and then cut those flowers out, and it's just a lot of fun. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. And yay, we are done. Now then, we need a piece of backing that is bigger than our mug rug. So there's that. You want, these are cut at 6 by 9, so you want your batting to be 5.5 by 8.5. And I like to stick it down with a piece of hem tape just so I get it stuck where I need it. So I pinch that off a little short and center this as well as I can. And you can always yeah, let me pull that back, because you can always trim your batting. Just make sure that your hem tape is well within the boundary. So we're going to stick that. And then I'm going to take the scissors and trim that batting just a hair on this side. Give me a little more seam allowance there. All right. And then we put right sides together and we stitch it down. So that's what we're going to do next. These really are a lot of fun, y'all. And they don't take any time to make. It's only taking time because I'm trying to make a video. So there you have it. Now, we want to leave an opening. This is 9 inches. Try to leave a 5-inch opening just so you can get your hand in there. And we also want a wide allowance of this, and I'll show you why. So we're going to start on this side. And I use the inside of my foot, inside of that hole, as my seam allowance, seam gauge. I've got white on the bottom and dark green on the top. I've told y'all before, I don't change my thread. I just don't. And I've used this 100 green on a bunch of stuff. I'm going to get you out of the way. There we go. I don't want my batting stitched down. It's stuck with that hem tape, and that's good enough. I can trim it and not have the bulk in that seam. Come up here a couple of inches. Just enough so you can trim that corner. Okay? Now, what we want to do is, and you know I've learned to do this with anything that has that has to be turned and then top stitch, because it makes it so much easier. So here's where I stop my stitching. I'm going to clip my backing inside that stitching, and I'm not trimming this off. I'm going to trim back here and back here. That gives me more to tuck in and makes it so much easier. So we're going to trim this. I guess I'm going to have to get some Guggenheims, but I cannot keep my scissors sharp. Drives me crazy. I'd love to just do that in one whack, but... And these scissors I got from Joann's before they closed, and they're brand new. But they're not performing well. And they're that Fabani. Okay. See how I left this thing, a little apron hanging out? Now, trim your corners. And I love using a chopstick to poke out my corners. All right. Now we can turn it. Get that chopstick in play. Get your batting straightened out and good and flat. And you can use more hem tape to stick that batting down. There's no rules. No rules. That is so cute. Okay, I'm going to tuck this under and press it. Ow. I hit myself on that lamp all the time. And press that real good. Make sure you roll it and get your seams pushed out, and you know, use your whatever tool you use, your chopstick or point turner. You might have to fiddle with your opening, but we always do, so. And I'm going to come as close to the edge with my stitching as I possibly can, just to make sure that it is stitched down. Alrighty, I'm going to back stitch a couple of stitches. Alright. And then make sure my edges are turned under. And I'm sure my hand is in the way. I'm just rocking along here. Alright, top stitching is done. Now we can quilt it. Um, with this particular raw edge applique, I'm just going to use a straight stitch. If your machine has any kind of variety of stitches, this is a fun thing to use them on. So I'm just going to stitch around and show y'all that, and do some squiggles in here, and I am going to change my foot over to my applique foot. This applique foot is a snap-in, and it's a aftermarket generic, but oh my goodness, look at that, how easy it is to see your seams and where your needle is and all of that. So yeah, we're gonna start right here on this leaf, and do a couple of stay stitches, and then just, I go slow, I'm not in a hurry. Let's see, one more. My feed dogs are up, but I have taken the pressure off my presser foot. So that's what lets me move it around. And then I'm going to go a couple of stitches into this flower. A lot of presser foot lifting. Oh, I'm out of bobbin. Okay. So y'all get the idea, and show me what you did. I love y'all to pieces. Y'all have a blessed day, and we will talk to you later.